Hello, everyone, and welcome to Portal PT Talks with your host, me, Kyle Waugh. In today's episode, we'll be interviewing Levi Kirkpatrick. He's a personal trainer, certified strength and conditioning specialist, and head instructor at the Lexington Healing Arts Academy in Lexington, Kentucky. In this interview, we'll be covering what qualities a personal trainer should possess, so that way as a client, you don't go out there wasting your money on anything. We'll also cover the future of the fitness industry and where personal training may be going. So stick around for a great show and we'll jump right into it. Okay, Levi. So we were just kind of chatting a little bit, but I want to get to know you a little bit better. You were telling me you are at the Lexington Healing Arts right now. Kind of training some people, grooming them, getting them ready for the NASM exam and some precision nutrition. Super cool. If you want to tell me a little bit about that and kind of, how that looks.
Sure. Yeah. So right now I'm serving as the program manager and the lead instructor for what we call the fitness and nutrition coaching program. It's a 9-month, currently a day program, and we prepare students primarily for the certification exam to be certified personal trainers, just as the value of that stepping stone in their journey. And then we add on to that the precision nutrition curriculum. So when they come out of school, they've got a personal training certification as well as the nutrition coaching certification. And actually, we have a group of students right now. We have 3 taking the exam Saturday. So this week's been big exam prep week for them, and 1 taking it Monday. And they've all received the number of the required points within precision nutrition to pass. So they're on a good track. They graduate in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, that's super cool. Like, I remember when I was like getting into fitness and all that stuff, and I like studied by myself for my personal training exam. But I knew there were some courses out there, but it's kind of cool. Like, I guess you would call yourself kind of like a third party kind of.
I kind of look at it like it's like a technical school for fitness and nutrition coaches. So not only are they getting the sciences and certification, but they're getting like on the job training. We have a gym that acts as our lab, which even, coming through the higher education program, we got all the sciences, but we didn't have that experience. So we had the what you should be doing, but we totally could have improved on the how. How do we get our clients to move in certain ways?
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be rewarding. You were kind of saying that earlier. Man, that's a interesting niche you all have found. How many folks are coming in like straight from college, or do you have a lot of people coming like right out of high school or changing careers?
I would characterize it as career changers, as well as maybe students who didn't fit in the traditional higher education system.
Right.
That's mainly who we're serving.
Yeah.
And the school also offers programs in massage therapy, which is how they kind of got started. That's their big program, and then also yoga certification.
Gotcha.
So healing arts. I think that fits well.
Definitely. I remember hearing about that place when I was living in Lexington, Kentucky. But yeah, man, they're always kind of doing a lot of interesting stuff out there.
Yeah. And I have to shout out, Lucy Hendricks for really setting the foundation for that program and kind of setting a vision and driving direction, and then working with me to come in and set up some systems and things to really help the students out. So that was really grateful for stumbling upon Lucy and what she's doing. It's been huge for me.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably shout out Zach Couples, Lucy, both of them, man.
Definitely.
Game changers in the industry. And I think they have definitely, at least for me, completely different mindset going forward with how I train, how I treat, how I handle myself as a person. Even though,
100%.
I don't know, Zach doesn't realize it, but he's a mentor to like a lot more people.
Oh man,
Same with
yeah,
Lucy, like,
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Cool, man. So I guess as you know, you're teaching all these people coming through, they're changing careers, they're, you know, like you said, not fitting, which I really think that's an interesting point. They don't fit into like traditional education. Like,
Yeah,
man, if I was coming out of high school and I knew about this, like I would
right,
100% jump on that
right.
before racking up some like student loan debt or anything like that.
Big time. Yeah,
And
it's
I think you going forward have probably found a niche that it's only going to blossom, especially in Kentucky too, where I don't know, it's a different education
sure.
mindset already.
Yeah. And we're kind of transitioning into a hybrid program, which we hope will kind of broaden our reach.
Hmm.
So what that would look like is during the week, Monday through Friday, they do online courses, and then come in on Saturday for about 8 hours. So a lot of our students have full-time jobs, and the day
Right.
class is hard to make it. So really, we're hoping that'll increase some numbers and just offer more people an opportunity if that's the path they want to take.
Right. Nice. Yeah, that's super awesome, man. So I guess going and like looking at how you're setting these people up, you know, you're covering nutrition, you're
Hmm.
covering, you know, positions,
Hmm.
hands-on, how to train these people, getting way more than like what I got out of my
Oh yeah,
kinesiology degree.
big time, big
um,
time. Same here. I mean, same here. Yeah,
yeah,
very
like,
coaching emphasis, right? So
which
not
is,
only coaching in the gym, coaching habits, nutrition,
mhm,
sleep, uh, behavioral changes, really try to make it a well-rounded or integrated
yeah,
approach to really serving the people we work with.
yeah. Not
Yeah.
just learning about actin and myosin,
Right.
cross bridges and all that. Yeah, man.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So I guess like when you're looking at this program and you're looking at your students, what are you like personally trying to instill in them? Like what's important to you to see
Yeah.
in a personal trainer?
Um, I think a few things that jump out is accountability. Promoting being accountable, um, to yourself and to the people you support and work with.
Hmm.
Um, Really trying to embrace that growth mindset and being okay with feedback. Right? There's really no failure. There's just feedback, and we need that feedback to continue to grow and learn. Um, I think two other things we really focus on is mindfulness and awareness. So like being mindful of our environment, what we're doing, being present with the people we're with, and then in the same sense being aware and self-awareness within those environments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, you know, like Lucy and, you know, your background with coaching and the positions and all that, like, and for those that aren't familiar with that, it's really kind of background and breathing mechanics,
Okay.
neurology, or kind of neurodynamics, all that kind of stuff. But it's very, you know, you got to be on it when you're
Hmm.
coaching someone through this. And it's a lot of
Right.
feedback based stuff. So, like, you're asking, can you feel X, Y, and Z? And they better, if they don't feel it, then you got to, you know, you're constantly with them and
Yeah.
talking to them. And I think
That.
that's, I mean, it's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been that trainer
Right.
who,
Same.
hey, sit on the lead press, 3 sets of 10,
Yeah.
kind of watching the game.
Yeah.
But
And I consider it's like we're really communicating, right?
mhm,
Communicating is a two-way process, right? It's not just uh, telling someone what to do. We're communicating throughout the whole entire uh, session and being present with each other during that process. And I mean, the outcomes are I've had much more success with it, and the
yeah,
students are much more successful with it as well.
definitely. Hey, I can attest to that too with these types
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
you know, programs and everything. So,
sure.
um, I mean, do you think as a whole, like the industry is kind of going this direction, like being more present, being, you know, teaching these principles and kind of hierarchies of movements? Or is this kind of like we're in our own little echo chamber?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in any goal achievement process, that communication is essential, and that really sets us up to be able to make progress. So if that communication is the foundation of what we're doing, and that's kind of the way it blossoms, I think that's a better. I think the outcomes are going to be better, and we can kind of um, improve as an industry, serving the people that come to us. Um, that's something I would really like to see.
Right.
Potentially some migration away from big box gym environments, more into communities where people feel a part of what they're doing. They're not just showing up for a workout, they're showing up to grow with other people in a safe environment, and being supported by people who, coaches who are there to really listen and facilitate that goal process for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it does take a specific person too,
Sure.
that is open to that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations where it's like you can't really conceptualize what it should look like or what personal
Right.
training should look like.
Right.
We've got 80s movies telling us it's just going to be some big old guy. He's going to make you bench press a bunch. But
Right. And some people like that, and that's
definitely.
they have to you know they have to be served as well. They
Definitely.
that's what they're there for.
Yeah. But I definitely think that we're seeing, and I don't know, I'm basing this purely off of all the folks I follow, like on
Sure.
social media, and there's definitely a shift. I think it's a relatively small shift right now, but it's
Mm-hmm.
gaining traction with people getting results,
Yeah.
um, and just people figuring out, like, I think it's honestly in programs like what you're doing at the Lexington Healing Arts Academy, like you're going to be setting a new bar, setting the
Hopefully.
bar and
Yeah.
allow. It would be even interesting to see these kind of programs progress in, like seeing ACE and
Yeah.
NASM and all that start to implement a large coaching, like, I don't know what you would call it. It just be courses like what you're
Yeah.
doing.
A long-term education
Mm-hmm.
program. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
9 months, 12 months. Yeah, definitely.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, then you're gonna have some universities wanting to slap a degree on
Oh,
that real
oh,
quick.
definitely, definitely,
um,
definitely.
so I guess with, you got these students, you're progressing them, communicate,
Mm-hmm.
be present with their clients. We're trying to make some lasting changes if the,
Absolutely.
client's open to it. Um, what are some things you all have like planned? It sounds like you guys have a great kind of vision right now,
Mm-hmm.
but what are you all like kind of excited for, like kind of going into 2020
Yeah.
with Lexington Healing Arts and everything?
Yeah. Well, May is when we're set to launch our hybrid program. I
That's
mean,
right.
that's what we're really excited about. And what
Mhm.
we did differently with that was we're setting up kind of the front half, or term one, to be just focused on passing the NASM exam.
Mhm.
You know, as I'm sure you can appreciate, with all the different certifications, we kind of see different languages, different approaches, and in a 9 month program, that can get kind of confusing,
Right.
because we have the coaching approaches that we want to instill in them and expose them to, and that language is different from their certification,
Mhm.
but they need the certification to become professionals within the industry.
Right.
Excuse me. So that's one change we're excited about, is
Mhm.
kind of front loading that NASM certification. And then the second half, we can really dive into different coaching approaches, from some of the people we've mentioned. Um, for me personally, to support the program the best that I can, um, I'm looking to collaborate with as many health and fitness professionals as I have access to. I really value exposing the students to different approaches, thought processes, and areas within our industry. In addition to Zach and Lucy, some others that that I really make an effort to connect well with are Brendan Panther, my Aunt Deirdre,
Mhm.
Chip Kaler, Chip from
Oh
Body
yeah.
Structure, getting Chip involved. One of my former teammates, Jonathan Garcia, Kyle Dobbs. I'm sure you're familiar with Kyle
Definitely.
from it's Rebel Performance now. It
Yeah.
was Compound Performance. Um, yeah, and then anyone else that I can that's willing to share and guide some of these students on their journey. I mean, I think exposing them to these professionals is nothing but value for them.
Right. Oh yeah, I agree. And there's so much information out there.
Yeah,
It's But I like how you all are teaching from your experiences, what has worked for you all, and then you're setting that good foundation. Again, like you
hmm
said, communication, be present, all
yeah,
that. But and then, hey, here's the world. Like,
right, yeah,
this is
and it's
important for any professional, but
right,
take
right,
it and run with it. That's a
right.
man. I'm still kind of whirling about like the traditional education, like comparing your program that you're doing to like my 4-year degree.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, I could have got
right.
so much more in 9 months. That's crazy. Like,
Well,
uh,
it'll definitely bring you in and
anyway.
have you work with the students, and you're not far, right?
So I'm here in Seattle, Washington right now,
Oh, gotcha,
but I
gotcha.
will be
Okay,
moving at the end of the month,
okay,
or end of February to Cincinnati.
okay.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's close enough to
oh
get you
yeah,
down
that's
here, and
super close, man. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
um, and for those that, we've kind of talked about Zach and Lucy, would you
yeah.
want to like kind of go into detail about like who these people are and kind of what they've been to you?
Yeah, sure. Mentors, first of all, to
Right.
me, um, they have a ton of online education content. They both
Mhm.
have seminars that they do, across the United States. Zach's seminar is the Human Matrix. Lucy has one with Michelle that's focused on the foundational positions or fundamental positions, and coaching those. Lucy's one of the best coaches I've ran into. A ton of purpose, ton of passion and purpose,
Mhm.
and just willing to help and share information with anyone who wants to grow and listen. Um, Really grateful for opportunities to start collaborating with them in more capacities. Zach's getting ready to uh, Zach's working on his Human Matrix online seminar, and
Mhm.
so I've been able to help out with that from an educational standpoint. Kind of using my experience at the school, um, and then as well as helping out. Lucy is part owner of Enhancing Life, which is here in Lexington. Awesome community-oriented facility that's really aimed at uh, those who might be a little timid of the normal gym setting, um, and they've created this awesome environment where you know you can grow
Mhm.
and achieve your goals. Yeah.
Definitely. So say I meet you, or I'm just someone I'm Googling,
Yeah.
personal training, Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously I'm going to get bombarded real quick with a lot of ads and everything.
Sure.
But what would you like suggest for someone who's like interested in improving their health, or maintaining their health, or just looking for any personal training? Like, what should this person look for in a trainer? I mean, you already kind of touched on the communication and the being present.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm curious to hear kind of your opinion on that.
Sure. And that's a challenging one because, I think it really depends on the individual seeking training. You
Mhm.
know, each individual is going to kind of find someone who matches best with them. Everyone has unique experiences, values, beliefs. So first off, I think people should seek someone who acknowledges maybe their autonomy or their ability to make decisions for themselves. To me, that's a big quality. Um, of course, like entry level certifications, I think those hold some weight to at least to get started.
Right.
And then someone who shows a genuine interest and care. you end up spending lots of time with the trainer, and it can be in rather vulnerable environments, right? And maybe like not ideal times of the day. It may be early morning when you're just waking up, or it might be end of the day when you've had a long day of work, and you're going to sometimes struggle during your session, so someone you enjoy spending time with. And then kind of as we touched on earlier, I think, a trainer who's going to be present with you during the session, undivided attention to you and the activities you're performing. Those would be my big ones.
Yeah. I think that's enjoy who you're with is something that's huge.
For sure.
You gotta like the person
Yeah.
at least a little bit, even if they push you.
Yeah.
And I think, and I would even add to that, like what comes with that too is that trust. I mean, it's a friendship, it's a relationship you're creating with this person.
Absolutely.
And being able to build that up and also be able to take instruction it can be tough and weird.
Yeah. Chip is one who promoted this a lot, and it's personal training. The first word in it is personal. So
right.
That goes a long ways, and is a quality that I think is very important to get the outcomes that those who come to us seek.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. In terms of how a trainer is training, is that something you would, because there's I've met trainers where they got along great with their clients, they were super good friends, they did all this stuff, but they were it's the same circuit every day.
Right.
Kind of deal.
So I guess what kind of comes in there, I feel like, is that presence and attention. If you're really present with the person you're training and giving your attention, don't know that would be the path that you would end up on.
I like that.
What do you think? Yeah, that's a good thing to ponder.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of chicken or the egg. Like,
right. Yeah.
If this person is going to, if you get along with them, great. If this is someone that's going to, I think just having in mind, like if you have a goal, like this person, even though they may have the entry level, certifications and all that, are they going to be able to get me to my goal is a super important thing.
Right.
And I guess that's where, what you're teaching, making sure that they have some, they're experienced. I know a lot of gyms out there they'll charge $80 a session. This is someone that's completely green.
Yeah.
And all they have is a cert.
Right.
And a couple of Instagram videos that they've saved.
Yeah.
But I think, just being mindful of your goals and that this person has processes can be super beneficial. But like you said, it's if they're mindful, if they're present with you, they're making you don't have anything to really worry about at that point. Like,
right.
Yeah, man. It's interesting to kind of talk about the industry and everything like that.
I look forward to hearing, some of the other viewpoints that you gather as you progress through this podcast that you started. I think that'll be very valuable for, potential clients and professionals who are coming up.
Definitely.
That'll be cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, and, I think at first I was gearing this podcast kind of toward, clients and all that. But now I'm like, oh, wow. Like there's a lot of people that that want to get into the industry, want to be trainers. And it's like, there's places to go, like the Lexington Healing Arts Academy, that they can, get a great education, get into the industry compared to a 4-year program.
Yeah. Super
quickly with a lot of bang for their buck.
Right.
So now I'm like, wow, man, like we got to, branch this out to people, right?
Even if, I'd say even if you complete a 4-year program and you're still green and looking for a pathway, and maybe the approach of your the big box gym that hired you doesn't resonate with you,
Right.
you know, there are other people out there with different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I struggled with early, is a lot of the trainers who I was working alongside, you know, you've mentioned some of the qualities, but just didn't resonate with me.
Right.
And so there's people out there that are changing things up.
Yeah. And people that want to be, you know, they want to make this into a career,
Right.
a true career. You know,
Right.
you got to have the qualities you were talking about,
Yeah.
and be present, communicate. And those are key foundations, but also having, you know, the abilities to adapt to people's goals, what they're dealing with, environments, all that stuff. So
Absolutely.
super complex at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get truly down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
How long have you been training for?
So I received my first coaching certification and began coaching in the sport of speed skating in
Right.
2003.
Okay.
Competed in that sport, coached in that sport. I didn't start working with anyone but athletes until, let's see, it would have been 2014, 2015 is when I was really exposed to general pop.
Gotcha.
And that was a great learning experience, you know.
Right.
Athletes, from my experience and opinion, athletes are some of the more relatively easy individuals to coach on movement because they're so competent and so aware of their bodies. And then, you know, moving from that to general population was a great opportunity to learn a lot, right?
Right.
And that's been cool.
Definitely. But you've also been able to grow from both experiences.
Absolutely.
And see like what it does take to truly find change for a client, help them through that process, talk to them, all that. So absolutely. I would say I would tack on there too, you know, for those that are looking for a trainer, experiences, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's a huge factor, you know, even if they don't have, you know, they've been through a program like yours.
Right.
That's experience in itself. I wish I had that when I first started. That, or at least a couple years experience as a trainer, you know, to where they've had time to figure out what works for them and how to get results for the people they're working with.
And that's one of the elements that our program has really emphasized, is taking the students through their own training program so they know what it feels like to progress or maybe start with too heavy of a weight.
Right.
You know, it can be deceiving working with someone who's very new to training. Yeah.
Have you all considered like taking this course online? Or I mean, you're doing the hybrid program, but I mean, you could do a nationwide, full online kind of
deal. We'll start with where we're going now and see if that catches on. But I think there's definitely opportunities, and
I can see Lucy probably had that. You guys had that idea way back, and it's probably popped up a couple times.
I think Lucy's got some things definitely in the works, and I don't want to speak on behalf. I'll let her share that, but you know, she's definitely got one of the brightest minds I've met in the industry, full of great ideas. So don't be surprised if you see something coming from her.
Oh man, I'm expecting it now.
Yeah.
All right, man. So in terms of, you know, you kind of talked about your business, what you all are doing, what people should be looking for in trainers. I got a couple questions for you, just kind of off the cuff here.
Sure.
So in terms of kind of like personal training, the industry and all that, what is some of the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Let's see, as a trainer,
as a professional,
one that kind of circulates often is kind of the mindset of, you know, just keep pushing it or just keep going. I think in certain contexts that has value, but you know, promoting that to a client that maybe isn't ready for that type of approach, I think can be pretty damaging, um, mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be one that jumps out to me. That's a
Yeah.
good question.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's a great answer, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. There's a
Yeah.
lot of, especially in our society, we're like more, like
Right.
just keep going, put your
Just
head
do it.
down.
Just
Yeah.
push it, and
Yeah. And that's a huge one with athletes too. I've
yeah.
noticed they're like, I got a guy right now, he's at the Canadian Football League. And man, I put him through like 2 hours of work,
Okay.
and he was shot. And he's like, all right, I can do more. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, like,
Save it.
yeah. I'm like, you know what? Go home, like, eat and sleep, like, just
Yeah.
relax, man. Like,
Yeah.
less, I don't know, not less is more, but you did the work, you're fine.
Right.
Kind of deal.
Right.
And that's, I'm sure you can attest to that from your teaching speed skating and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's
Absolutely.
certain folks out there that just want to keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and got another question for you.
All right.
All right, man. So we got, what's the worst advice you ever heard?
Okay.
Now, obviously, what's the best advice you've ever heard?
Best advice.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of advice from my father, and I value that a lot. And one thing that has been critical for me is not to memorize what you can reference or look up. And I think there's like an Albert Einstein quote out there about it or something.
Didn't memorize it.
Yeah, didn't memorize it. There you go. I can look it up. I got it typed up in my documents.
Right.
But that's, I feel like that's promoted a couple things. One, just being efficient with my resources, and then kind of circling back to what we discussed earlier, allowing for valuable presence with people, and space, if you will, to think creatively, contemplate, or discover solutions, rather than hanging on to information that, especially in this day and age, we've got more technology in our hands than they had on the first spaceship to the moon. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's becoming efficient with resources, and allowing yourself to be present with people, and space for creativity.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, man. That's, I'm right there with you. We got the same
right.
approach right there. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I completely agree, especially with, it allows you to be adaptable, to the client that's in front of you, how you're going to speak to them, their energy, matching their energy levels, all this stuff. It's super important. And I think if you're very rigid in your approach, you're not going to be as successful. I mean, it's just going to be tough, and you're going to, yeah, you're a good teacher, man. I can already tell, like, you're like teaching
I've
good
had
stuff.
good mentors. I've had good teachers myself, and I appreciate that you mentioned adaptability, because that's something that that I struggled with coming into the industry, especially coming out of, I spent 12 years, pursuing the Olympics for speed skating, and competing at that level, which is very structured.
Right.
So there was not a lot of adaptability. So that was such a valuable thing to learn. And yeah,
definitely.
You said it well. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of the opposite. I remember when I first started training, I was like, I'm going to try anything and everything.
That's awesome.
And I've got to try a new exercise this, like, someone meet me twice a week, and I'm like, we're going to do something new today.
Yeah.
But I think I tried a lot of stuff, but I never truly understood a principle behind it and why I was doing that.
Sure.
So it's kind of both sides, you got to find that middle ground. And I think that's where that experience or mentors and teachers are huge.
Absolutely.
In that regard,
Absolutely.
You're not just running around like a chicken with its head cut off over here, and you're not just stuck in the ground.
Right. Yeah.
All right, bud. I got one more question for you.
All right.
What is, I don't like the idea of like, oh, what's the best book you've read or anything
Mm,
like that. But what is like the best resource you've come across?
mm.
Can be anything, man. Like,
I love to read. My
yeah,
reading list is like a mile long. Someone will give me a book, and I'm like, ah, I'll put it on the list.
there you go.
Uh, one that one that I've really appreciated most recently, and actually my cousin shared it with me when I was probably a freshman in college, so uh, a long time ago,
Hmm.
about four would be 14 years ago or so,
Yeah,
and that's the art of motorcycle maintenance, and just a very great. Uh, Something to contemplate and think about and kind of make you think about things maybe a little bit differently.
hmm,
uh, that's one that I've really appreciated as of recent.
gotcha. What's
Yeah.
that one about? I mean, obviously, it's
uh,
about motorcycle maintenance.
right. It's and I think I appreciate it a lot because I have a real close relationship with my father, and
Mhm.
we, kind of one of our hobbies is rebuilding, repowering classic cars, primarily Chevrolets. Um, and so it's about a father son who take a motorcycle trip out west, and the father kind of explores some different lessons that he can teach his son through story form, as well as through the experience of traveling and then keeping his motorcycle uh, maintenance along the way.
Yeah,
And definitely my best teacher and mentor is my father. So that one like really hits home to me, and I can really relate to it. It really resonates with me.
hmm,
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read that.
Yeah.
I got a list as well, so that's
Yeah.
going on the list.
I'll
Cool.
send you my copy
Yeah,
after I mean, I actually have like one or two chapters left in it, but
there you go.
yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Um, cool. Well, hey, thank you for being on the Portal PT talk here that we got
Absolutely.
going.
Thank
Um,
you. Yeah.
yeah, and then I think that's a good way to kind of close it out. So, for
Alrighty.
all those listening, or actually, yeah, hey, tell us where
Sure.
we can find you. Tell me
Yeah.
a little bit of info about that, and then we'll
Sure.
close it out there.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram, Levi T Kirkpatrick.
Don't
Um,
forget the T,
Yes, the T is important, especially in the emails. I need to fix
especially in the
that. So
email.
that's for the common thing. Facebook, Levi Kirkpatrick. Um, I have a website right now. It's levitKirkpatrick.com. I'm in the process of kind of making some changes, shifting it away from that. And so if you follow my social media, you'll be up to date on some of those changes that are
Mhm,
happening this year. And yeah, that's
definitely.
where you can find me.
Yeah, I remember you had posted you had some really good resources in there. I
Yeah,
remember I read through. Those were,
my bookshelf.
yeah, you have
Yeah,
all that and then like some sleep
right.
resources,
Mhm.
nutrition, a lot of good stuff on your website. So
Yeah,
highly recommend that as a
thanks,
resource.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, so we'll close it out there. We'll with the idea of if you're looking for a trainer or you want to be a personal trainer,
yeah,
got some foundations you need to have. You need to be present, be able to communicate, and look for mentors or
yeah,
gain experience, hands-on coaching experience. Those are kind of three big things that I think would be really beneficial for everyone to keep in mind, as they travel through health and wellness and fitness and all that fun stuff. So,
yeah.
yeah. All right, man. Well, hey,
All right.
thanks for having you. And I'm looking forward to having you on in the future, maybe like 6 months or something like that.
Sounds good, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right.
Alrighty.
Take it
Take
easy.
care.